Tucson, Arizona's #1 online radio podcast about all things medical cannabis. Your host, Belle,
and the Cannabis Kid. Our show features news, interviews, and all the latest information about anything and everything medical cannabis related in Tucson, Arizona, and the world at large.
We'd love to hear from you. Please give us a call live at 646-915-8421. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on all social media, or email thctucson@gmail.com.
We'd like to thank Weedsday Wednesday and Studio C, along with our many sponsors, for hosting our show every week. With the lowest price certifications in town, you'll find hemp products, accessories, and all things related to medical cannabis education.
Visit Tumbleweed Health Center at 4826 East Broadway Boulevard or online at tumbleweedshealthcenter.com. And remember,
Be smart,
be safe,
and educate.
That was a little late. Welcome to Weedsday Wednesday, everybody. Let's try that again. Yeah, explosions. Woo-woo. It's been a while. Yes, it has. Yeah. Love my little moo-moos. Woo! Welcome to Weedsday Wednesday, everybody. How's everybody doing out there? It's freaking hot already. It's 90 degrees out. My kiddies are like, screw that. I'm not going outside. Can't blame them. It's just too hot. And mosquitoes and oh my God. And something's in retrograde right now. So y'all better be careful because there's crazy crap happening. And speaking of my kitties, one of them hasn't come home in a few days. Well, she came home and then another kitty of mine chased her away. Her name's Charlie. Please, please, please say some prayers for Charlie. We need her to come home. All right. Welcome to Weedsday Wednesday, everybody. How's everybody doing out there? It's been a couple weeks. My apologies. I've been out of commission for a little bit, went out of state for a little bit. So we're going to get to, we had 3 listeners on and now we have none. What is up with that? Yeah, that's weird. I guess someone was looking for weed quite early and then said, maybe not. All right. Well, welcome to Weedsday Wednesday. Belle Star here, Cannabis Kids out there. What's going on in the world? We are going to do some news and then maybe some fun things, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. See if we can get a little comedy going. I've had a rough few days, and it would be nice to hear some jokes. So, okay. Let's see. First and foremost, let's give a shout out to Tumbleweeds Health Center in the Good Leaf at 6224 East Speedway Boulevard. Come on down and see us. We are literally right next to Bookman's. If you haven't been to Bookman's, you need to go to Bookman's. It's a spectacular place. Not only do they have books, it's all used books. It's fantastic. They've got antique books and rare books and books and books and books. And it's really a really fun place. They've got actual antiques in there. They've got games, puzzles, a whole kids section. You can bring your dog in. It's a good time. And it's huge. And we're right next door. So come see us. And if you're hungry, we're right next to Beyond Bread as well. So stop on by. We have doctors on staff Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays to get you certified. So come on down and get certified. We are open 7 days a week, though, for all of your hemp and CBD needs and any questions you might have about the medical marijuana program, what certifies you, what you can have, what you can't have. So we're going to do a little recap right now. If you live in the great state of Arizona and you want to get certified, just get on over to tumbleweedshealthcenter.com. Check out the certification section. There's a button for telemedicine. If you can't leave your house, you don't want to leave your house. You want to sit on your couch and have a phone call? We can do it. We'll send you a link through Googly, and you can meet with one of our doctors. Also, you can book your appointment right online. right there. So you can book a telemedicine or you can book just a regular appointment. These are the conditions. If you have these, and even if you don't, I'll explain how you can get your medical card. But these conditions, most of them you will have seen a doctor for. The first one is PTSD, and you have to see your own doctor for that. Our doctors aren't going to certify you or they're not going to diagnose you. They'll certify you, but they're not going to diagnose you with PTSD because that has to come from a psychiatrist or psychologist or however that works. That has to come from not us. All right. And then let's see. Cancer, glaucoma, AIDS. Again, if you have these conditions, you most likely have seen a doctor to get diagnosed for that. We've got chronic pain that covers most everything from fibromyalgia, migraines, IBS, cramps, menstrual cramps, leg cramps, muscle cramps, all the cramps. Queen Elizabeth used to use cannabis for her cramps. Helps with everything, DDD, all the arthritises, RA, all that. It really covers the whole gamut of chronic pain. Now, chronic to the state of Arizona has to be 60 days, 2 months. It's not a long time, but it is when you're in pain. We get that. So, you can use rec until you can get your medical card. You can absolutely use recreational marijuana. And you can't buy as much or have as high of dosage, but you certainly can. I think you can get 100 milligrams in the medical program. No, not in the medical. In the rec program, you get 100 milligrams. In the medical program, you get 1,000 milligrams, and that makes a huge difference. And you can have that every 2 weeks, which is great. Because some people really, really need it. They've got stage 4 issues, and they've got a lot of pain they can't control with other things, or they want to get off other things. I'm going to tell you, I've had some medical things going on in the last year and a half. Tell your doctor you're on cannabis. Usually, and I've found this with probably, I'd say 9 out of 10 doctors are like, right on, go for it. Of course, there was one doctor that just told me that alcohol has carcinogens in it. So, I said, can I have can I have your study on that? So he said, no, no, smoking has carcinogens. Alcohol has carcinogens. Okay. All right. So grain of salt, maybe on your, maybe on your margarita. But seriously, be honest with your doctor. Say, and I'm going to be honest with you. Cannabis can affect your blood pressure, your heart rate, it constricts your blood vessels when you smoke it. So these are all things to consider if you've got some health issues that concern your heart, your lungs, anything, your arteries, whatever. If you've got artery history of not so good things, be careful. That's all I'm going to say, because I'm experiencing this myself. My goal right now is to try and find a product, cannabis or hemp or CBD or something that does not affect my blood pressure and heart rate, but I think that's pretty impossible to find. Or not greatly affected. It's hard to get a balance when you're putting something in your body that if you're eating it takes a while to affect. If you're smoking, it's pretty instantaneous, but then you can raise your blood pressure just by smoking. So I'm trying to find a happy balance here. It's very difficult and scary. So just be honest with your doctors and tell them what's going on in the kitchen. It's always best to be honest. Nausea, severe nausea. If you've got severe nausea, absolutely get your card for that. Seizures, including epilepsy, HIV, Hep C, ALS, Crohn's disease, agitation of Alzheimer's, and dementia. And it's just the agitation of these things. There are 25, 30 different types of Alzheimer's, maybe more now. We did have an expert on our show. We had a doctor come on to talk about it. I didn't know there were that many types of Alzheimer's and dementia, but there are. Cachexia and wasting syndrome, severe and persistent muscle spasms, including multiple sclerosis. You are eligible for a medical cannabis card if you suffer from a chronic or a debilitating disease or medical condition, or just a treatment for a chronic or debilitating disease or medical condition that causes any of the conditions that I just read. If you didn't hear your condition, don't worry, because a lot of times the treatment that you're going through will cause conditions that are on this list, like nausea, pain, headaches, wasting syndrome, even cancer. Treatments can cause cancer. Cancer treatments can cause cancer. It's freaking cuckoo. So if you want to get your medical marijuana card and you want to come see us or have a telemedicine appointment, we totally encourage it. There's tons of benefits.
If you suffer from one of these medical conditions and have been diagnosed by an Arizona licensed physician, medical cannabis may help relieve your symptoms. Tumbleweeds Health Center is Arizona's premier cannabis certification, health, and education center. Our primary focus is to help the patients of Arizona obtain their medical marijuana card and educate everyone about medical cannabis. With current medical records, approval is a simple process. Contact Tumbleweeds Health Center to see if you qualify for your Arizona medical marijuana card.
Are chronic conditions holding you back from a happy, healthy life? Get on the right track with Tumbleweeds Health Center. Our CBD products are formulated to fit your health lifestyle.
I will definitely say that CBD has changed my life. I mean, I don't worry about my dog anymore, and I don't worry about sleeping anymore.
Tumbleweeds Health Center, voted #1 health center in Tucson, has created a proprietary number of CBD blends, each designed to promote health and well-being. Let Tumbleweeds Health Center show you how CBD products might help you improve your life the natural way.
That's right. Just give us a call, 520-838-4430. Like I said, we're down there 7 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we offer certifications. And every other day, we're there to answer your questions and help you with your hemp and CBD products. Speaking of hemp and CBD products, let's see what's going on in the kitchen. I haven't been here for a few weeks. I apologize, but let's see if there's any news going on. It looks like on azmarijuana.com, no local events. Nothing. No events. But let's see if there's anything. Okay, cannabis vape pens reduce exposure to combustible toxins. The Cannabis Business Advisors will launch compliance platform as DEA registration opens. Here's one you guys are all really interested in. The Supreme Court government can't restrict gun rights for casual drug users. Let's see what that says. On June 18th, the Supreme Court voted 9-0 to bar the federal government from restricting the gun rights of casual drug users in America. The ruling doesn't invalidate the law across the board, but it makes it more challenging for prosecutors to invoke it, especially as it relates to casual drug users. I wonder what they're calling that, or defining a casual drug user as. The case stems from the arrest of a Texas cannabis consumer who challenged the gun rights law as unconstitutional, contending that it violated his Second Amendment right to bear arms and is unconstitutionally vague. That's where they get you all the gray areas. The law prevents quote unquote, unlawful, quote, drug users from owning guns. But the Texans lawyers pointed out in filings to the Supreme Court that the statute does not define unlawful user. Justice Neil Garosh wrote, quote, it does not address efforts to ban addicts or those presently intoxicated from possessing a firearm. Other prophylactic laws Congress might adopt after determining that users of a particular drug pose a special risk of misusing firearms, provision disarming individuals convicted of felonies, or whether the government could bring a prosecution accompanied by individualized proof that the defendant's drug use renders him a danger to himself or others, or proof that a certain drug always renders its users dangerous. Okay, well, there you have it. And with the state of Arizona, you are allowed to have your gun if you have your medical marijuana card. So that rule doesn't, sure, it applies, but in this state, with your med card, your medical marijuana card, you can legally possess your firearms and your marijuana. Police officers don't encourage you to travel with both. I know this firsthand because I got pulled over almost a long time ago. Where are we? Like 12, 13, so many years ago. And I had both in the car. And the officer was really nice, scared the crap out of me because, they smelled the weed. They pulled me over. They said and this is something I always make sure I have fixed now, but around your back license plate frame, because we don't have to have license plates in the front of Arizona. Stupid. But in the back, there is a light that illuminates your plate. And if it's not illuminated, they can pull you over. Now, they did. They pulled me over, and just one police officer did. And then I think 2 more cars showed up because, of course, you got to pull someone over in a multitude here. So they had me step out of the car, and we smell marijuana, so we're gonna have to search your car. And I knew all my rights, 4, 5, and 6. I didn't have to let them. I didn't have to get out of the car, and I could have just sat there and called a lawyer and said, "Fuck you guys." Pardon my English. I came out pretty quickly. I don't want to. I don't have to, because you really don't. 4, 5, and 6 says you can't search me, you can't make me say anything, and I get a lawyer. But I didn't. I said, okay, I'll hop out, and you guys can go through the car and see what's in there if you want. And I didn't think anything bad was in there, except for the weed. But I did have guns with me. I had 2 real guns and a BB gun. And he comes back to the car. I'm standing there I'm freezing and freaking out. And he comes back and he's like, "Why didn't you tell me you had guns?" And I said, you didn't give me a chance. You got me out of the car and you scared the crap out of me, and you put me over there by your car, and you didn't ask. You didn't ask. You didn't give me a chance. And he's like, "Okay, that's fair." So I said, "I'm a medical marijuana patient and I use it for my fibromyalgia and headaches." And he's like, "Okay." So he took my card and he called it in. This is when they were green. He took my green card. He called it into the state of Arizona. And they're only allowed to check that if they think that you're intoxicated. They thought I was driving intoxicated, I'm sure. And then he comes back and he's like, "Huh, okay, well, you're all clear. You are right. You are a medical marijuana patient. And per the law, you're allowed to have your firearms with your marijuana." Well, he called it, what did he call it? Narcotics. With my narcotics. So it was crazy. They put all my marijuana back in the car. They discharged all my guns and left them like open and unracked military style with bullets aside, and the whole thing's there you go. Here's everything back. Have a good night. I swear to God, I thought I was on candid camera or something. You young kids are going to have to look that up because it's pretty funny. But I thought I was on candid camera, and I'm like, oh man, I am so busted the minute I drive away. And then I had a knife on me, which I gave him right away. So I used to carry a little pocket knife around my waist. Or not a pocket knife. It's a good blade. I mean, it's 2 inches probably. Yeah. And I gave that to him. And then as I was leaving, I forgot to get that back. And it was pretty important to me. So I was like, well, you're going to get busted driving away anyways. So you may as well ask for your knife back. So I go up and I knock on the window and I'm like, "Hey, do you think I could have my knife back?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you for reminding me. I was just about to sit on it." And I was like, and he was like, "I don't want to sit on it." He's like, "Here, take it. Have a good night. Drive safe." And I was like, I drove away. I'll never forget these moments. They are burned in my brain. And I just, in that 10 seconds of driving away, at first I was like, here, I know it. They're coming after me. And they didn't. Officer Blue was his name, like the color of his eyes, he said. Sergeant Blue, Officer Blue, I'm not sure, but he was fantastic. And he was super kind and super nice. And just pray to God you get somebody super kind and super nice if you ever get stuck. Talking to a police officer with your cannabis and your guns. But you're safe now. I mean, you're pretty safe now. Just don't be doing stupid things. All right. Here's another good one. Cannabis extracts can reduce obesity and improve glucose levels. That's something I'm also working on, the glucose levels, not the obesity. The use of plant-derived cannabis extract reduces weight and improves blood sugar levels in obese mice, according to preclinical data published in the Journal of Physiology. Scientists affiliated with the University of California at Riverside assessed the metabolic impacts of both THC and cannabis extracts in obese mice for 30 days. Researchers reported that both THC and cannabis extracts reduced body weight and fat mass. Yeah, that could be true. I'm skinny as a rail. Mice that received full spectrum extracts also showed improvements in their glucose levels, while those subjects that received THC alone did not. See, so there's that plant working synergistically to do its thing as a whole plant. Quote, our key findings demonstrate that THC in cannabis extract robustly reduce body weight and visceral adiposity, body fat, in DIO, diet-induced obese mice with notable improvements in glucose homeostasis, particularly with cannabis extract, but not THC alone, improving glucose clearance. The study's authors concluded, our findings highlight the potential therapeutic value of cannabinoids in managing obesity and related metabolic disorders, though further research is needed to fully understand the underlying mechanisms and translate these findings into clinical applications. Population-based observational studies consistently show that adults with a history of cannabis use possess a lower risk of suffering from certain metabolic disorders, including hypertension, obesity, and adult onset diabetes. All right. And let's see. There's a state mandated warning on every page of this that says, do not use marijuana if you are under 21 years of age or pregnant. Keep marijuana out of reach your children. Yeah, and keep it away from your pets too. I added that because, sorry, Lala. Walter, pretty sure he was an American dingo. Got into some cookies that, I don't know who made them. Anita Amnesia, Silver Sister, myself. I don't remember who made these cookies, but I think he ate like 3 of them. And we were new at making cannabis edibles. This is not funny. But I giggle because there was just so much weed in each of these cookies had like, I think we figured out that our cookies probably had like 350 milligrams of cannabis in one. It was a lot of marijuana. We were trying to figure out dosages and stuff. And that's how Sonic Wendy happened. I can tell you that story in a minute because that's a really funny story. But poor Walt, he ate 3 cookies. And then we found him like literally, and I'm doing this as I say this, he was standing sideways, the poor guy. He couldn't function for like 3 days. And we knew we just had to watch him. There was nothing you can do. There wasn't going to kill him. But boy, did it make him unhappy. And he hated marijuana after that. I mean, hated it. And you can't blame a guy. He had a horrifying experience. He was dizzy. He was probably very nauseous. In hindsight, maybe should have taken him to the vet at least just to get him more hydrated because he wasn't hydrated very well either. Yeah, it was not a good situation. So I add to that warning and say, please keep it away from your pets and your kids and people that aren't supposed to have it because it's not for everybody. And I'm not going to lie when I say that. You have to be very careful with something that physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychically alters you. And it does. I'm going to say it. I mean, I'm just being honest. Cannabis alters your being. That's why people use it. They love getting high. It's a great feeling. I love the feeling of getting high. But like Melissa Etheridge said once when she was talking about her cancer treatment. She's like, it makes, if anything, it makes me more mellow. It's not something that like freaks you out, makes you run all around and do crazy things like the government film said did. The devil's lettuce, but it can alter you. So here's a story that proves this very thing. And oh God, I wish we could see this gal again because she was absolutely fantastic. We nicknamed her Sonic Wendy. It wasn't her real name, but that's what we gave her so that we could talk about the story on air because it's funny. But this shows you how cannabis will alter you. So I told you about the cookies. We used to have something called Meducation Hours. And it was, yeah, it was awesome. It was mind blowing. Meducation, you're welcome. Medication and education, Meducation Hours. We should do that again. And we had those cookies, and they were they were so strong. We did not know how to measure what we were doing because we were brand new at it 15 years ago, and this is when we were doing this. Yep, we're coming up on 15 years. It's crazy. So Wendy was a regular. She loved the cookies. So you pay for a class, and at the end of class, you could pick something: cookies, weed, joints, gummies, whatever. So you weren't paying for that. You were paying for the class. And we had awesome classes. We had doctors, lawyers, police officers, instructors. We had people showing you how to make cannabis products the right way, how to make keef, how to make hash, how to roll a joint. That was a fun one. Another one of our favorites that we just totally miss. He's living somewhere else now, but we miss you. You know who you are. He made a weed joint in the shape of a tulip. Oh my God. It was awesome. He made a three-headed joint. Yeah, it was really awesome. So those are the kinds of classes that we had, and Wendy would come every week. We had a lot of weekly comers along, and she got her cookies and left. And we were like, okay, have a great night. Hug, hug, hug. We hugged everybody. It's all about the hugs and the love and the weed. And she comes back the next week and she's like, oh my God, do I have a story for you? And we're like, what's going on, Wendy? And she's like, okay, well, remember last week? We're like, well, yeah, we do. What do you remember about last week? She said she went to Sonic Burger. She was craving a milkshake. She had eaten a cookie. Well, you know, I told you a cookie was, it literally could have been hundreds of grams of marijuana. We did not know how we were measuring things. It was trial and error. And that's why people were coming back. These things were so strong. They were so awesome. She goes, I went down to Sonic, and then I remember sitting in my car and I ate some more cookies, and we're like, oh God, you did not eat more than one. And she's like, I ate more than one. I think she said she ate like 3, and then she started to feel something. But not after she had been there for about, I'm going to say 45 minutes to an hour, she said. And the manager came out with another staff member, and they were carrying all of these bags and bags of stuff. And they came running out, and they were like, we're so sorry. This took so long. This was a really big order. And we just wanted to make sure we got everything right for you. Apparently, Sonic Wendy had ordered so much food, it took them 45 minutes to prepare it. Ice cream, milkshakes, burgers, fries, onion rings, chicken nuggets, you name it, whatever's on that menu, she ordered in bulk. And so that's what we call her now, Sonic Wendy. Oh, man. So seriously, be careful with your edibles and enjoy this.
I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunter, looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome.
Walk into my house like, what up? I got some good pop. I'm just pumped up, got some herb from the pot shop. Ice in the fridge, it used to be frosty. My friends like, damn, there's a storm nest. Okay. Rolling in hella high, looking like it's pizza time. Dominating all my friends as I eat some chili fries. Straight through the study with my girl sitting next to me. Probably should have had a big gulp full of iced tea. But shit, it was 99 cents. I'll be blazing and smoking, about to go and get some munchies. Passing up on those cracker jacks, Reese's Pieces of where it's at. Gotta get me some soda pop. Cotton mouth has been creeping up, but can't remember where I put my keys. Yeah, that's what's up. I'ma take your grandpa's ride. No, for real, ask your grandpa, can I take a 65? To Bill cruising to my local Publix. Nothing better than rolling with two super fly chicks. They have frozen burritos. I bought frozen burritos. I bought some Ben and Jerry's, and then I bought some Cheetos. Hello, my main man Obama. A couple states have just reformed their laws on marijuana. What you gonna do? Send the feds there? Hell no. The DPA's will be like, oh, they got volcanoes.
I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunter, looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome. I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunter, looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome.
What you know about the science of marijuana? What you know about people suffering from glaucoma? They need it, it helps them with their condition. If you don't believe me, then just ask some eye physicians. Thank your granddad for voting for that guy. Richard Nixon is the president who made the plant illegal, but science is now showing that it's medicine for people, and the private sector's fighting to keep all of that illegal. Alcohol and tobacco, pharmaceutical prisons. I'll take those 4 major lobby groups and fight those motherfuckers. They're making money day and night, all those motherfuckers. And bribing Congress out of sight, all those motherfuckers. They'd be like, oh, it's immoral and unhealthy. I'm like, how many people are you making wealth? Anti-marijuana lobbies are making all kinds of profits, and they don't want you to stop because of all the special interest. I call that getting swindled and pimp shit. I call that getting tricked by the government. That law's hella old, so it's time to update it, regulate it, and then get it under state control. Peak game, looking to my political telescope. Think it's gonna stay like this forever? Not hella won't. Not hella won't.
Hey, Grandma, stop being a hypocrite. You used to smoke weed, fool.
I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunter, looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome. This is a war on drugs. It's time to pull the plug. These special interest groups are nothing more than corporate clubs. Let's end the war on weed. The people have agreed. These special interest groups have kept these laws for bribery. I'm gonna smoke some weed. Only got $20 in my pocket. I'm a hunter, looking for a pot shop. This is fucking awesome.
All right, welcome back to Weedsday Wednesday, everybody. All right, yeah, be careful with your weed. Sonic Wendy, just remember that story. All right, I think we're gonna play something. Well, you're listening to Weedsday Wednesday. Let me just say that. And I think this is as funny that I want to play. Let me see if this is the one. Sometimes you just need a little humor.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks very much. I'm very happy to be here. I like how a couple of you are laughing already. That's a good sign. But
Weed jokes.
you're like, didn't we see this guy in the alley earlier? That was me, man. I write these jokes in the dirt and then come in and try them out. But I'm feeling really good tonight. I'm feeling good. I took some pills I found on the bus.
Okay, don't do that.
And, it's part of my healthcare plan. I'm with Greyhound now. I don't know how that happened. I got on that website. It said Greyhound's your best bet. I'm like, all right. And I don't like to brag, but I'm getting a colonoscopy tomorrow. So, yeah, thank you. That's on the San Diego to Bakersfield run. So, I understand that's a 2 transfer procedure. So, that's a big day for me. Now, I'll tell you, weird things happen, to me. And my friends are always like, well, it's the way you look. And okay, I get it. I'm sure when I walked up here tonight, you guys are like, what the hell is this wizard guy going to tell us? But here's an example of something weird that happened to me. I was in Rapid City, South Dakota. They have this pedestrian mall. It's a Sunday afternoon, broad daylight, I'm walking. I'm dressed like this. I feel like, I look pretty good. All right, well, people don't usually laugh there, but what the hell? That's cool. But I'm walking, I'm walking, and this lady sees me way off to the left, and she starts coming towards me. So I think, hey, she recognizes me as being a comic, but that wasn't it. And I knew she saw me because we made eye contact. And if you look at me, that's hard to do, man. I got a weird ass eye going that way. So that fucked up her eye for about 25 minutes. I had to give her some exercises to do to get it back. So she makes a beeline. She stops right in front of me, and she has a doggy bag. And she says to me, hey, buddy, are you hungry? And that's rude. I'm literally just walking. I'm not carrying a sign or anything. And so she says to me, hey, buddy, are you hungry? And I'm like, what do you say to that? I was like, no, but I'm horny. And I'll tell you, things took a turn after that. It turns out I was hungry. But now, I want to talk about sex a little bit tonight, I think we're all over 21, and I'm 70, I'm not going to lie.
All right. Well, that was not the one I thought it was, but that's okay because you can have some good laughs anyway. Yeah. All right. Sorry about that. Just a little spin off there. It's good to laugh, so that's all right. Let's see what else is going on in the world of weed. Oh, I forgot to let y'all know how many days until Christmas. 184 days until Christmas, 185 until it's over. That's for the bestie. June 24th. Can't believe we're this far into the year already. That's crazy. We're half done. That's nuts. And now we're losing a minute of sunlight every day. So that's not good. Okay. Here we go. The Trump DOJ said weed smokers were too dangerous to own guns. All 9 Supreme Court justices disagreed. We read that. There's a mountain in Morocco where growing hash sent men to prison. Now it's legal, worth $15 billion, and the farmers are getting cut out. Uh-oh, that's not good. Let's see. Why would they cut them? Well, we know why. Big farms, big pharma. All right. Here we go. In the Rift Mountains, indigenous Berber farmers have grown cannabis for generations and gone to prison for it. And now the country wants their hash on the global medical cannabis market. A dispatch from Morocco's Keef country with veteran activist Abdelatif Adidabide in the Rift Mountains. Let's see. In the Rift Mountains of Morocco, the cultivation of keef, the word for cannabis in Arabic, which means pleasure, has long sustained thousands of indigenous Berber farmers and their families. Despite colonialism, state repression, and ongoing structural inequalities, we have resisted to preserve the temple of the plant, says veteran reform activist Abdelatif Adibib as he smokes from a wooden pipe filled with Morocco's endemic Beldia strain mixed with tobacco. Okay, double dip in there. Adibib 70 would like to take his final breath whenever that day may come in the simple home where he was born in Morocco's impoverished high central Rif, which is for him the Temple of Kif. It's a remote region where tall cedar trees line the hillside some 1,600 meters above the nearby Mediterranean Sea, and according to a myth popular with the locals, where Noah is said to have built his ark. But first, he wants to complete his mission to help liberate his people from tyranny of anti-cannabis laws, which sometimes saw peasant farmers arrested as drug traffickers for producing Morocco's vaunted hashish. The future came a step closer last year when Morocco's King Mohammed VI issued a royal pardon for almost 5,000 people convicted or wanted over illegal cannabis growing. In 2021, the country had legalized cultivation for medical purposes across 3 provinces. In a first for a Muslim country at that time, Adibib alluded to a song sung to welcome the prophet and said, "The full moon had just appeared." Very spiritual people here. Quote, "We want to escape from being persecuted, but thanks to God, now we will be okay. We just need to find a way to export." Lamenting how countries which have legalized cannabis usually have strict controls over imports. Quote, "We are also fighting permission to launch an ecotourism project so that people from all over the world can come here and experience our culture. And that vision includes legal coffee shops and avenues for tourists to visit keef plantations, currently forbidden. Still, it's not difficult to find a tucked away cafe to smoke keef from, a long terracotta and wood pipe in Chefchaouen, the home of illegal cannabis tourism in Morocco." And I'm so butchered that, I apologize. With some Reefin villages destitute, roads in disrepair, and a general lack of basic infrastructure, Adibib says it's a no-brainer for Morocco to take its reforms one step further and bring cannabis tourism out of the shadows. Quote, "They need to legalize it because it's a natural plant. We have the knowledge to make the #1 cannabis globally." He's backed by 30 years of campaigning, which has taken him to the UN in New York and Vienna, as well as South Africa and Jamaica. How long Riffian farmers have grown cannabis is unclear, but it has certainly been for several hundred years. Adibib claims it is a 1,000-year-old native plant and rejects the well-documented evidence that cannabis somehow originated in India. Certainly, however, it was not until the early 70s when growers in the Rif began adopting the Asian method of collecting the resin from cannabis flowers and compressing it into hashish, a more potent product that was also easier to transport abroad. Quote, "When the state was not shouldering its responsibility towards this region, the drug baron was taking care of us by buying the crop every year." That was a Rif farmer to Bloomberg in 2022. "The drug baron is the cornerstone of the community," a farmer said to Bloomberg in 2022, reflecting the deep mistrust of central authorities and big business. Quote, "When the state was not shouldering its crop towards the region, the drug baron was taking care of us by buying the crop every year." Moroccan hash quickly flooded Europe and fueled countercultures as dealers like the Welshman Howard Marks, better known as Mr. Nice, gained notoriety, fame, and wealth. But today in the Muslim country, even as cannabis becomes legal around the world, keef remains extremely stigmatized. Says Khalid Tanasti, a research associate at the Switzerland-based Center on Conflict Development and Peace Building. I love these pictures they're showing. It's beautiful, beautiful fields of cannabis in Morocco. Quote, 15,000 men were sentenced over the years for farming cannabis. It caused socioeconomic problems because men ran away from their homes. And so recently, you'd find families where they were just women and children. And he adds, detailing how the state criminalized entire villages. Even today, despite the reforms, young men in the poorest parts of the country are still going to prison for smoking a joint, Tanasti adds. And yet, keef is everywhere. You want happy? Hash cake sellers in surf towns ask tourists discreetly while holding very indiscreet platters of psychoactive baked goods. Other dealers mumble hashish, keef, with less poetic verb but equal sincerity. In Marrakesh, the smell of hashish sometimes wafts into your orbit, though, as in other cities, it's not sold as openly. The prices for foreigners may start astronomically high, but they can go as low as $2 a gram. Equally, the quality can vary wildly, depending on where you are, from dried out bunk to the most delectable hashish you are ever likely to smoke. Perhaps the dealers are right to put a premium on their product, which Atabib refers to as the country's treasure. The Rif's farmers have reportedly been receiving about 4% of the profits from Morocco's illegal market. But that figure could triple once all sales are final, even while the market expands significantly, potentially reaching a staggering $15 billion. Still, there are serious concerns that small growers could be left out of legal markets as they have elsewhere in the world. With the RIF's legacy of defiance co-opted rather than preserved, quote, multinationals want to get their hands on it, quote. But it's our cultural heritage. It brings you up. When you smoke keef, you're very lucid, very calm. You think well, you eat well, you make love well, says Atabib. For him, Morocco has everything in place to be a global cannabis leader. History, expertise, climate, quality, reputation. In the days following our conversation, Morocco officially entered the international medical cannabis market with its first export of 50 kilograms of Belle to Australia, the beginning of a new chapter where the crop is no longer sped out of Zodiac boats, but shipped legally. It is a natural next step, perhaps, for a plant that has been a quiet ally in the reef's long battle for dignity and autonomy, representing both heritage and contraband, lifeline and liability, caught between centuries of rebellion and an uncertain future. As the summer's harvest ends in late August, Atabib is positive about what the future holds while remaining philosophical. Quote, this is a story of man and keef, quote. In 2021, Morocco legalizes medical cannabis cultivation in 3 provinces. 2024, King Mohammed VI pardons almost 5,000 people convicted or wanted for illegal cannabis growing. And in 2025, the first legal export, 50 grams of hashish, was shipped to Australia. Yeah. That's awesome. Way to go. Keep going, Morocco. But share with the farmers that started it. That's the whole, that's sad. Guys, they started it. Share with them. All right. That was from High Times magazine. Let's see. What else is going on? Let's try some Cannabis Business Times. You're listening to Weedsday Wednesday. Belle Star here. Kids out there. I know you're out there somewhere. Sorry, I can't help myself. And we are happy and proud to be here. Any bloggers out there? Not yet. If you want to get on and chat with us, go to tumbleweedshealthcenter.com. Check on the radio link, and there's a link to take you right to the YouTube show. You can chat with me. Open hour. We miss you. We miss chatting. Hope you're doing well. Hope your job's well, life's well, you're happy and healthy, and smoking some good hashish. For sure. All right. here, what else is going on? Let's check out Cannabis Business Times and see if we can find some stories. Virginia sends new cannabis legalization bill to the governor via a budget deal. Of course they did. Vermont governor signs cannabis bill to double the purchase limits. Prepare for interstate trade. Whew. Oregon cannabis wholesaler withdraws challenge to interstate commerce. The DEA names 7 anti-rescheduling parties for cannabis hearing, 0 pro parties. Feds haven't provided clear guidance. Feedback to Ohio on cannabis rescheduling. The National Restaurant Association urges Congress to regulate, not ban, hemp and THC drinks. Let's check that out, because yes, they do. The Business Association for the Restaurant Industry sent a letter to U.S. congressional leaders lobbying to delay a forthcoming federal ban. American restaurants that serve hemp-derived THC products joined the battle to keep those products legal as they stare down a November 2026 federal prohibition timeline for products containing more than 0.4 milligrams of THC per container. The National Restaurant Association, which represents the business interest of more than 1 million restaurants and food service outlets throughout the United States, sent a letter June 17 to congressional leaders asking them to delay the federal government's forthcoming ban on intoxicating hemp products. While the association specifically wants to keep hemp-derived beverages legal through a regulated framework, the forthcoming ban also includes any product containing more than 0.3% THC, including THCA, as well as those containing unnatural HHC or synthesized delta-8 THC cannabinoids. Hemp-derived THC beverages, the association asserts, represent not only the difference between profit and loss for many restaurants operating on razor-thin margins, but also a real growing consumer interest, said Sean Kennedy, the group's chief advocacy officer who penned the letter. Quote, consumer demand for THC beverages is driven by a shift in drinking habits, particularly among young diners whose lifestyles are diverging from traditional beverage alcohol, he said. For operators, especially those running high-volume beverage venues, these products offer an alternative for guests who want a social drinking experience without alcohol. Roughly 5% of the National Registry Association's members who serve alcohol also offer hemp-derived THC beverages, while 26% of all restaurants would be interested in offering the products under clear regulatory guidelines from Congress, according to the business group, which estimated a potential annual market of $1.6 billion. Under federal cannabis prohibition, restaurants in many states alternatively sell hemp-derived THC beverages that mirror similar products in state-licensed cannabis dispensaries, which play by a much more stringent set of rules. From license fees and tax penalties to testing standards, packaging, labeling requirements, marketing and advertising restrictions, and age verification protocols. While state-licensed cannabis programs that allow cannabis consumption lounges require permitting, restaurants that offer hemp-derived THC beverages alternatively abide by language in the 2018 Farm Bill defining hemp by a 0.3% delta-9 THC threshold that has largely allowed manufacturers and retailers of intoxicating cannabinoid products to skirt legislative intention. But the National Restaurant Association is now urging congressional leaders to help establish hemp-derived THC beverage regulatory parity with the cannabis and alcohol industries to, quote, ensure consumer safety while meeting growing market demand, quote, according to the letter. Quote, the association supports a regulated market for hemp-derived THC beverages for consumption at restaurants, one built on clear federal standards covering age verification, production, and quality assurances, marketing and labeling requirements, dosing disclosure, and operational asable impairment standards. Kennedy wrote in the letter, a federal framework that sets baseline standards while empowering state and local governments to tailor market-specific rules similar to that of alcoholic beverages would create a safe foundation, quote. The letter was addressed to House Speaker Mike Johnson, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, and Senate Majority Leader John Thune, and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. The association suggested that its nearly 16 million member workforce is well positioned to serve hemp-derived THC products responsibly after establishing training and impairment management practices for alcoholic beverages. Quote, consumers have made it clear that they want hemp-derived THC beverages, Kennedy said. The only question is whether cannabis, we love cannabis. That's why it comes out of my mouth so much, is whether Washington will create a way they can enjoy them safely, or if they will allow a thriving market supporting small business owners to disappear because they create a sensible regulatory framework. And I'm going to just, pause for just one moment. Give me a moment, please. And I will get right back to Weedsday Wednesday, live Cannabis Radio with Belle Star and the Cannabis Kids. Sorry, I had to go do something, so I just yacked at you for a second. According to the association, the median full-service restaurants' pre-tax margin fell 4% in 2019 to 2.8% in 2024, with 42% of operators reporting no profit at all in 2025. The group argued that hemp-derived THC beverages can help the industry remain competitive. Meanwhile, 73% of state-licensed cannabis operators, which compete against hemp-derived THC products, report no profit at all as recently as 2024, according to a Whitney Economics U.S. Cannabis Business Conditions Survey. The Restaurant Association asked the congressional leaders to at least delay the forthcoming hemp product ban by 2 years to quote, provide the predictability operators need, quote, and to allow Congress to rethink its approach for a regulatory alternative that responsibly meets consumers' demand. People don't want to go out and just get trashed anymore. They want to enjoy their buzz and their company. Quote, time is short. The existing market will shut down in November due to legislation enacted last year, Kennedy said. We urge Congress to act now, delay implementation, and commit to the deliberate, safety-focused regulatory process which this emerging market deserves. It does. The National Restaurant Association letter comes at a time when President Donald Trump is calling on Congress to update legislation so that, quote, Americans can continue to access the full spectrum CBD products they have come to rely on, quote, suggesting that forthcoming federal ban's definition is too narrow for the majority of hemp-derived products in today's market. It also comes as U.S. lawmakers have proposed modifying, delaying, or stopping the ban's forthcoming implementation altogether. Yeah. Well, folks, we are down to that time of the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love being here each and every week. Sorry I was not here for the last couple weeks. Life happens. I do my best. I hope you do yours. Remember to be nice to each other and always be smart, be safe, and educate. We love you. Happy Weedsday Wednesday. Have a great day. Cannabis Kid, we'll see you soon. Safe travels, Silver Sister, and everybody keep on weeding. Hap. Happy Weedsday. Y'all have a great day now, you hear? Stay hydrated. It's already 90 degrees out there. Woo! Happy Weedsday, everybody.